In the quiet neighborhoods of Setagaya, Tokyo, lies a forgotten house that locals refuse to speak about openly. From the outside, it looks like any other abandoned building, peeling paint, shattered windows, and a yard overgrown with weeds. But those who live nearby whisper that the house is not just abandoned, they call it cursed. They say that anyone who enters after sunset will never leave the same again. Some disappear entirely, others come back but are forever changed, haunted by something they cannot describe. The story of the cursed house begins decades ago. In the 1970s, the area was still being developed. Families were moving into new homes. Young couples dreamed of raising children, and the atmosphere was hopeful. Among the new residents was a family of four: a father, a mother, and their two young daughters. They bought the house at a suspiciously low price, ignoring the uneasy glances of neighbors. At first, everything seemed normal. The father worked in the city, the mother tended the garden, and the children played outside. But within a year, strange events began to unfold. Neighbors claimed to hear screaming at night. The lights inside the house would flicker on and off even when no one was home. The daughters stopped coming outside. Some say they could be seen standing silently in the upstairs window, staring out for hours without moving. The family grew increasingly isolated, refusing to interact with the community. Then, one winter evening, everything changed. The father was found dead in the living room. Officially, it was ruled a suicide, but the details were bizarre. His body was discovered sitting upright, eyes wide open, with deep scratches across his face and arms, as if he had fought something invisible. The mother disappeared the same night. Some claim she was seen wandering the streets barefoot, muttering to herself, before vanishing into the darkness. The two daughters were never seen again. The house was abandoned, but it never stayed empty for long. Over the years, several people tried to move in. Each time, the results were disastrous. A young couple in the 1980s bought the property, hoping to renovate it. They lasted less than a month. The husband was hospitalized after a violent breakdown, screaming about a woman whispering in his ear at night. His wife packed their belongings and left, never returning to collect the rest. In the 1990s, a group of university students dared each other to spend a night inside. Only 3 went in, but only 2 came out. The missing student's body was found weeks later in the basement. His face twisted in terror, his nails broken as though he had tried desperately to claw his way out. Police declared it an accident, but the locals knew better. They said the house had claimed him. By the 2000s, the house became notorious. Taxi drivers refused to stop near it after dark. Children used it as a test of courage, daring each other to touch the front gate. Some swore they heard voices calling their names from inside. Others claimed to see pale figures in the windows. Still, no one demolished it. The city supposedly tried several times, but each attempt ended in disaster. A construction crew once brought heavy machinery to tear it down, but the equipment malfunctioned inexplicably. One worker fell from the roof and broke his neck. Another went missing overnight, leaving behind only his helmet. Since then, no one has tried again. It stands untouched, slowly decaying, but never destroyed. The most chilling account came from a man named Sato, who lived nearby. He was a night shift worker, often returning home in the early hours of the morning. One night, passing the house, he noticed a faint light inside. Curious, he stopped to look. In the upstairs window, he saw a little girl in a white dress. She was staring directly at him, her face pale, her eyes black as coal. Terrified, he ran home, but when he looked out his own window minutes later, he saw the same girl standing in his yard. She did not move, she did not blink, she simply stared until the first light of dawn, and then she was gone. After that night, Sato was never the same. He refused to speak of what he saw, but neighbors said he aged rapidly, his hair turning white within a year. He eventually moved away, leaving no forwarding address. Some paranormal investigators have tried to document the house. Videos exist online of people exploring it, but they are often corrupted, filled with static and distortions. In one recording, a man can be heard screaming before the camera cuts to black. Another video shows a figure in the corner of a room, but when the cameraman turns toward it, there is nothing there. Skeptics say these are tricks of the imagination, or clever editing. But those who live in Setagaya insist the curse is real. They believe the family that first lived there never left. Their restless spirits remain trapped, feeding on anyone foolish enough to enter. What makes the house particularly terrifying is the silence surrounding it. Unlike other haunted places that become tourist attractions, the cursed house of Setagaya is ignored, left to rot. Locals avoid talking about it, as if mentioning its name invites misfortune. Maps do not label it, and real estate records are strangely incomplete. It is as if the city itself wants to erase its existence. Yet the house remains, waiting. Some say that if you stand outside on a quiet night, you can hear the laughter of children echoing faintly from within. Others claim you can smell and sense, as though someone is holding a funeral inside. A few brave souls insist that if you place your ear against the front door, you will hear a woman whispering your deepest fear. Why does the curse persist? No one knows for certain. Some believe the land itself is tainted, perhaps built on a forgotten graveyard. Others say the father's violent death and the disappearance of the daughters created a wound that can never heal. There is even a theory that the house itself is alive, feeding on pain and suffering, luring victims into its walls. Whatever the truth, the cursed house of Setagaya endures as one of Tokyo's darkest legends. It is a place where the boundary between the living and the dead has been shattered, and where anyone who dares to cross the threshold risks losing more than their life. They risk losing their soul, and so the house waits. Decade after decade, it waits. The weeds grow taller, the roof sags, the walls crumble, but the curse never fades. Perhaps one day it will collapse entirely, swallowed by time. But until then, its windows remain like black eyes, staring out at the world, daring someone to enter. And when they do, the house will welcome them. It always does. Because in Setagaya, there is one truth that everyone knows, but no one will say aloud. Once the house has chosen you, there is no escape.